Hi, I'm Ed Amoroso from Tag Cyber. I'm here with my friend Roger Thornton, who is the CTO of AlienVault. Roger, how are you doing?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Ed. I'm doing great.
It's great to see you. You and I talk a lot. It's nice to sit and chat in front of a camera.
And it's always great to get back to New York, see old friends, and great to be spending the morning with you.
Hey, let's talk industry. So you know as much about this industry as anybody. You're CTO of a very cool security tech company, and you're on a lot of boards, and you're intertwined. What are some of your thoughts? We're sitting here sort of in the latter portion of 2017. What do you think about the cybersecurity industry right now?
A good story that I think captures the essence of what's going on. I was delayed for about 3 hours because of thunderstorms, and I was sitting on the tarmac, made a bunch of phone calls. And one of my calls was to a friend that runs a sales team for a great company, a startup company. Great product, great team. You know, they got good momentum. And his Q3 was just a disaster. You know, they probably only transact one deal in Q3. And so we were talking, you know, and I was worried that, well, you know, maybe there's a change in the market or some big competitor. And he was walking me through all his deals. And he said this thing. He said, Roger, you know what is really going on? There's this sense of buyer's fatigue out there. And he went through his various customers, and he didn't lose any of them. They were just having a trouble getting all the products through the evaluation cycle that they were interested in. There's just too many vendors, too many products, and it's kind of slowing things down.
You think point and click provisioning, like very lighter, simpler means for buying, almost like the Amazon.com effect for buying cybersecurity, you think that'll make it a little easier so you don't have to go through a long life cycle to select a product?
That model may be good for really big, super expensive, complicated things, but I think more products have to go through a flow where the customer can learn on their own time and speed, evaluate on their own time and speed, and ideally even use the product to a certain extent for free, self-provisioned, before the vendor and the customer really start to do a dance.
With so many companies, do the expectations for exit change? Like instead of exiting with a 10x multiple purchase and everybody driving off rich, is it a little dampened? Is it more about doing things you maybe really enjoy and sliding into a situation that allows you to perpetuate your work, which maybe dampens the exit expectation for founders?
In my personal experience meeting with entrepreneurs, they are certain of success and looking for that 10x outcome, and they're going to change the world until the writing is so
pretty clear,
crazily on the wall that it's not going to work out. So they're kind of in binary mode. You know, everything's going to be great, or oh my God, the company's gone. I think that's the nature of the activity. A person that doesn't have unbelievable optimism, or maybe the ability to the ability for self-delusion at times, is never going to make it through the process, right?
Yeah,
so unfortunately, they all feel pretty sure of themselves. But when you look, endpoint's a great space, right? And a lot of the vendors in that space I have a ton of respect for. Some really great products. Frankly, it's one of those spaces that I kind of fall in love with all of them. I'm glad I'm not a customer having to buy one. But one thing to be sure, there are several of those vendors that have a scale and a reach and a marketing budget and a sales team that the next 5, 10, 20 little guys, even if the products are better, there's a moat that you've got to be able to cross.
Symantec comes to mind. It's
Symantec, and over the last couple of months, I've probably spoke with right around 10 startup endpoint companies. Great technology.
They are all good.
And and there's none I can look at and say, wow, that's terrible, it's bad. In fact, some of them I look at just blow my mind. But when I look at the chasm they've got to cross because of the crowdedness in the market and the momentum of those guys ahead, it's very daunting.
It's a challenge. Now, a lot of them are doing machine learning, AI, that kind of thing. You and I chat about that occasionally. do you think? Is that, on one end of the spectrum, it solves everything. On the other end of the spectrum's hype. Most people in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I remember the first talk I ever went to at AI. I was a young engineer at Apple Computer, and the talk was entitled "How to Wreck a Nice Beach." And then you think of a beautiful beach with beer cans all over it, and you realize that's also how to recognize speech from a computer's point of view. Telling those two apart to this day is still really, really difficult. So with that temperament, so anybody of a certain generation, you've seen this hype, and then the abject failure of delivering on that. We saw that before. You come forward, and a couple big milestones. So a computer can really beat a grandmaster at chess. It's a fixed computational exercise.
That's true.
Amazingly complicated.
Yeah.
But the fact that a computation machine couldn't beat a human for so long at a closed, fixed mathematical computational game is amazing. Not the fact that the computer eventually
Parallelism has gotten better. The algorithms have gotten better. Yeah.
So
ability to deal with big data sets gotten better. All good algorithms.
And then the next piece that comes along, and this is where I sort of flip to positive. There's a lot of stuff that's purported to us under the umbrella of AI that, from my days in college, it's statistical analysis on large data sets.
Right.
And if we want to call that AI, that's great, because the output of those calculations can have profound impact on businesses, on life, on the betterment of mankind. I don't think it's fair to kind of hold those developments up and say, look, computers are thinking and they're capable of inference, and they're have this creative expression that humans do. But it does fall in the umbrella of AI today, and it's very, very, very important.
I think we're going to see a sorting out in cybersecurity, where there's companies that I think sort of get it and understand that it's mathematics and computer science, and then they're the ones who think they're building some, humanoid kind of capability, which is kind of ridiculous.
Right.
In my opinion, I know Elon Musk and other people disagree with that. I think that it is something. My answer to the Elon Musk thing is that Newton spent about half of his career on alchemy, right? So you can easily be seduced into areas of science, of scientific discipline that can be a little rough.
Well, here's a great circular reference to that. So a great scientist and thinker like Newton spent his time on silly pursuits.
Potions.
Those silly pursuits are what stimulate the creativity and the mind to actually be able to make the
make calculus, right?
Make calculus. So I
just in his spare time, right? I think I'll do physics and then do calculus.
Yeah.
Right? In the middle, I'll make potions.
So there's
Crazy.
there's one point I want to make sure to make, and we were talking about the AI umbrella, and that's one that I think gets overlooked too much. And I wish I could cite the paper that I read. It might have been an article somewhere, but I was a young engineer, and it was about Boeing at the time, and they were talking about their design imperative, or their design angle was to, instead of trying to replace the pilot, to try to make the pilot 1,000 times more efficient. And in this body of work that I read, because it wasn't just really one article, I became interested in it and learned everything I could. Any operation where you pull a human being out has the areas that are really easy to do, and then you asymptotically hit this very hard challenge at some point. And their hypothesis was, if you can put those two capabilities together in a really good way, you can perform magical stuff.
Hey, you enjoying what you're doing?
I love it. Yeah.
You always look like you do enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
Always smiling, always doing something interesting.
Thanks. Well, we were talking before we went on camera. One of the things I love most about what we do at AlienVault, When you and I were working together in the past with my previous company, Fortify, we really helped the top companies who were pretty sophisticated and smart about security get a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, at AlienVault, we focus on the average everyday company that may have a lot of employees, but it doesn't have enough people in the security staff, and it's not going to be able to. So trying to figure out how to lessen that security fatigue, reduce the number of products, make it easier, host everything in the cloud, let you focus on doing security and less work integrating products. It makes you feel good, especially
really
when you need
satisfying work.
it. It is.
Well, you're the right guy to do it. I hope you keep doing it. We all
Plenty.
benefit from what you do.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you stopping by and chatting.
Appreciate it, Ed.
Awesome, man. Thanks for
Thanks
coming by.
so much.
And we'll see you next time.